Ever seen a multi-story complex designed not by humans, but by a bird? Or witnessed a nest that expands as the chicks grow? What about homes floating on water as if defying the very laws of nature? You might think we're talking about feats of human engineering, but no, these are the works of our feathered friends. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Forever Green. Today we'll show you the 15 most hardworking and perfect architecture birds of nature. Forget humans. These birds have been perfecting the art of construction for centuries, from nests that stretch across several stories to those that adapt and grow with their inhabitants. These birds take architecture to a whole new level, and if you think that's fascinating, just wait until you see a nest that's not only a home, but a fortress. Get ready to be amazed. Click subscribe, and let's jump right in. 15. Woodpecker. Starting off our list, the woodpecker could give any carpenter a run for their money. These birds aren't just randomly attacking your favorite trees. They're busy crafting the ultimate nursery for their young. Woodpeckers have a simple yet ambitious plan. Find a tree, make a hole, and call it home. They use their beaks like chisels, hammering away with such rhythm and dedication that you think they're trying to meet a construction deadline. But their craftsmanship doesn't stop at making a cozy cavity for nesting. These clever birds also carve out small holes to store their food. The interior of a woodpecker's tree is minimalistic in design because, let's face it, who needs fancy furniture when you're a bird? Yeah, it's functional, with storage filled with nuts and insects, ensuring that even during the lean months, the pantry is just a peck away. So next time you hear a woodpecker's rhythmic pecking, remember, you're not just witnessing a bird building a home, but also preparing a well-organized pantry. 14. Sociable weaver. Ever seen a bird build a multi-story complex? These community-oriented birds take living together to a whole new level. They build enormous communal nests on telephone poles and trees. Think of it as the high-rise of the savannah. The design is so intricate and roomy that it can house over 100 birds. Imagine that, hundreds of birds under one roof and not a single noise complaint filed. Their nests are not just big, they're built to last. Constructed with a mix of grass and twigs, these structures can endure for decades, outlasting many human-made homes. Inside these mega nests, there are separate chambers for each family, because even in the bird world, everyone appreciates a little privacy. It's the ultimate in avian real estate, proving that when it comes to housing, birds might just be smarter than us. After all, how many of us can say our homes are eco-friendly, self-made, and have room for all of our friends and family? 13. Montezuma or a pendola. Now, if you thought the previous birds were impressive, wait till you hear about the Montezuma or a pendola. These birds are the thrill seekers of the avian world, building nests that look like something out of an adventure park. Each nest is crafted like a hanging basket, skillfully woven from fibers and vines, and dangles from the tip of a tree branch. Imagine a hammock, but for eggs. The real genius of these nests is their placement. By hanging them from the slenderest branches, these birds ensure that no large predators can make it to the nest without shaking things up, literally. It's like setting up a security system that says, sure, you can try and get up there, but let's see if you can do it without swinging wildly and alerting everyone. This architectural marvel not only keeps the eggs safe, but also adds a little thrill to the lives of the baby oropendolas, swinging gently in the breeze. If you like this video so far, leave a like, and you can also check out 14 most fearless birds in the world on our channel, Forever Green. 12. Vogelkop bowerbird. On to the Vogelkop bowerbird, an artist and an architect rolled into one. This bird doesn't just build nests, it creates masterpieces designed to impress. The Vogelkop bowerbird constructs what is known as a bower. Not so much a home, but more of a stage for performance art, where the main act is trying to impress a mate. These bowers are an exercise in aesthetic luxury. The main bird starts by building a structure from twigs, which serves as the framework. But here's where it gets artsy. He decorates this framework with all manner of objects he can find, from colorful leaves and flowers to shiny bits of glass and metal. Each item is placed with precision, creating a visually striking display that screams, "Look how resourceful and creative I am." The layout of the bower is also precisely planned. It's all about creating the best possible viewing angles for when the female comes to nest. The male will often create paths leading to the bower, lined with decorations, essentially guiding the female through an art gallery of his own making. Bayou Weaver. The Bayou Weaver birds are the perfectionists of the avian architecture world. These feathered engineers don't just throw together some twigs and call it a day. No, the Bayou Weaver crafts its home with the kind of precision that would make a Swiss watchmaker nod in approval. Each nest is a beautifully woven basket made from long strips of grass artfully tied together. The construction process is a real sight, involving a complex series of knots and loops, which the bird intricately weaves using its beak and feet. Designed with a long tube leading to a spherical chamber, the structure ensures that predators have a tough time reaching the cozy interior where the eggs rest. It's like a medieval castle with a drawbridge, but in bird form and hanging from a tree branch. The male weavers are particularly hardworking, often building multiple nests to impress the females. Talk about going the extra mile for love. 10. The Southern Masked Weaver. Then we have the Southern Masked Weaver, another genius in the weaving world. This bird's approach to nest building is all about customization and climate control. Like its cousin, the Bayou Weaver, this bird constructs a woven nest. However, it places a strong emphasis on the nest orientation and ventilation to keep it cool under the hot African sun. The Southern Masked Weaver selects materials accurately, choosing only the finest grasses that can withstand the elements. The nest features a cozy chamber and a protective canopy, ingeniously designed to shield the young ones from predators and the elements. Each nest is an individual masterpiece, tailored to the specific needs of its feathered creator. And when the breeding season is over, these birds don't get sentimental. They often tear down the nest and start fresh next year, because who doesn't appreciate a good renovation? 9. Hummingbird. Size isn't everything. Hummingbirds may be tiny, but their nests are marvels of engineering. Who needs an extensive estate when you can build a compact, efficient home that has everything you need? Hummingbirds construct their nests from spider silk and plant material, creating a small, cup-shaped structure that's both flexible and sturdy. The magic of the hummingbird's nest lies in its elasticity. The spider silk allows the nest to expand as the chicks grow, which is like having a house that grows with your family. Imagine if your apartment expanded every time you bought new furniture. Moreover, these nests are camouflaged with bits of lichen and moss, making them nearly invisible to predators. It's less about the flash and more about the function, packing a lot of punch into a tiny package. These birds may be small, but their architectural prowess is mighty. Talking about birds, you can also check out our video on 20 cutest looking birds in the world. 8. African jakana. Why build on land when you can float? Now, if you think building on solid ground is tough, the African jakana takes it to the next level: water. This bird doesn't just walk on lily pads, it builds its nest right there among them. Using a variety of aquatic vegetation, the African jakana crafts a floating platform that's anchored securely to the plants beneath. This isn't just a nest, it's a full-on floating villa. The architectural marvel here is the bird's ability to gauge resilience and stability, ensuring the nest can support the weight of the eggs and the brooding parent without tipping over. Talk about having your ducks, or in this case, jakanas, in a row. These nests are a proof to the bird's ingenious use of its watery landscape, turning a seemingly inhospitable place for a home into a safe haven for its chicks. 7. Swallow. Swallows are the adobe builders of the bird world, showing off their masonry skills with a little bit of mud and a lot of saliva. Yeah, you read that right, saliva. These birds gather globs of mud and mix it with their own spit to craft sturdy, cup-shaped nests that stick to vertical surfaces like cliffs, buildings, or any upright structure that suits their fancy. It's like using nature's own brand of superglue. The engineering marvel here isn't just about sticking stuff to walls. Swallows design their nests to withstand the elements: rain, wind, you name it. The shape of the nest also shields their young from predators and provides a cozy, weather-resistant haven. If you ever doubted the usefulness of spit, swallows are here to change your mind, one mud pie at a time. 6. Hammercop. Meet the hammercop, whose approach to nest building could be summed up as go big or go home. These birds construct massive nests that could rival a small shed in size. We're talking about structures that are often up to 2 meters wide and made from thousands of sticks stacked together in an apparently chaotic yet incredibly structured heap. These nests are not just big, they're fortresses. Inside the massive stick mound, the hammercop designs a complex system of chambers, including a roofed chamber to keep the interiors dry. It's like building a castle with secret passageways and hidden rooms, except it's all made from sticks and mud. And the best part? These nests are so robust they can support the weight of a grown human. Not that you should try climbing into one. Leave the castle storming to the knights. 5. Tailor bird. Imagine being so detail-oriented that even your home has to be haute couture. Welcome to the world of the tailor bird, a small bird with a flair for fashion and architecture rolled into one. These birds use their sharp beaks like sewing needles, not for embroidery, but for constructing their homes by literally sewing leaves together. They thread spider silk or plant fibers through leaves to stitch them into a cozy camouflage pocket that hides their nest from nosy predators. The tailor bird's nest is like a leafy green tent, expertly stitched to ensure it blends seamlessly into the surrounding vegetation. It's not just about looking good. These nests are a masterclass in functional design, providing shelter, insulation, and stealth. It's the bird world equivalent of a stealth bomber, only prettier and much quieter. 4. Stork. If the tailor bird is the boutique designer, then the stork is the ambitious high-rise designer of the bird world. These birds are known for building enormous nests atop trees, poles, rooftops, and other high structures. Their approach is less about privacy and more about domination, seeing and being seen. Each year they return to the same nest, adding more sticks and debris, causing these structures to become massive over time, some even weighing hundreds of kilos. Stork nests aren't just big, they're communal hubs. Often, these nests become the high-rise apartments of the avian world, hosting not just the stork family, but freeloaders like sparrows and starlings too. Built to last, these nests are reused and renovated each year, growing only larger and more impressive with age. It's like gathering family heirlooms, except instead of jewelry, it's twigs and mud. Sustainable architecture at its finest. 3. Magpie. Magpies don't just build nests, they build veritable fortresses in the trees. These birds are the safety deposit boxes of the avian world, crafting large, domed nests that could give any security system a run for its money. The nests are precisely woven from twigs and branches, fortified with a mixture of mud to solidify the structure. Much like using concrete in human construction, the inside of a magpie nest is lined with soft materials, anything from wool to pet fur, making it not just secure, but also the coziest penthouse you could imagine. Think of it as building a luxury-safe room in the middle of the woods. These nests are often so well constructed that they can withstand the harshest weather conditions. Rain, snow, or shine, a magpie's nest is the place to be. 2. Great Crested Gryphon. Meet the Great Crested Gryphon, the aquatic architect who doesn't believe in building on boring old dry land. Why settle for solid ground when you can have a floating home? These birds construct their nests right on the water, using whatever wet plant material they can get their beaks on. These nests aren't just slapped together, they're carefully crafted platforms that are anchored securely to submerged vegetation to prevent them from drifting away, a bit like having a houseboat with a built-in anchor. The genius of the Gryphon's design is in its adaptability. The nest can rise and fall with water levels, ensuring that the Gryphon chicks stay high and dry, or snug and wet depending on the weather. It's a bit like living on a waterbed, except it's actually made of water. Plus, being on the water means predators have a harder time getting to the nest, making it a safe haven for the Gryphon families. Ingenious, right? 1. Common swift. Topping our list, the common swift. It takes vertical living to new heights. Forget ground-based or even tree-based construction. These birds attach their nests to vertical walls and cliffs. And how do they manage to keep their nests stuck up there? Well, they use their own saliva as glue. Yeah, you heard that right. Saliva glue. Who needs hardware tools when you have a super sticky spit? Common swifts build their nest by gathering small twigs and leaves, which they then bond together and to the wall using their saliva. This creates a secure, cup-shaped nest that can withstand both the weight of their parents and their growing chicks. The location of these nests high up on the walls or cliffs makes them nearly inaccessible to most predators, providing a safe space for swiftlets to grow up.